The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Event Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.
524, Paul and I just getting stuff printed. And I got some friends in town from Spokane, came over yesterday, and they were checking road conditions. And apparently there were some people yesterday that spent quite a bit of time on Homestake Pass because that got closed down early because of a semi-wreck. 5-6 hours parked up there. So my friends were checking road conditions, and they got as far as Wheat, Montana. Got a couple of big sandwiches up there. Got a big cinnamon roll in case they got stuck on the Bozeman Pass.
Oh, and Three Forks there.
Yeah. But I never make coffee, and they wanted coffee, so I made coffee this morning. And Paul, I got to tell you, I'm going to go back to making coffee.
Oh, yeah.
That's really good.
Wheat, Montana, they got great hamburger buns.
Yeah.
They really do. They got good hamburger buns. For Memorial Day, if you need to pick up some buns, get the Wheat, Montana buns. Good buns. The rain's good for their wheat. And
I had 1 3/4 inches at my place.
wow, I saw some people got 3-4 inches.
Had some friends on the West End, got 3.
Mm-hmm. I had about 1 inch out at the ranch, a little over 1 inch, and that's fine with me.
And for you folks that don't know farming like I do, Paul is pretty much going to retire now because that's all he needed.
Oh, yeah. You're damn right. That's it.
Oh,
that's right.
You must be shopping for new pickups.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, your partner's got to be loving this.
Yeah, except for one thing.
What's that?
This morning when I got up and I came to work, I had to scrape the ice off of my window. It was 32, and we had a heavy frost.
I had 36 at my house. I don't doubt you.
32, frost. I couldn't even see, had to scrape it. And the bad news is, too, is I just spent half a day this week planting petunias for my mother. And those are probably all going to be TU, depending on how long it was 32. It was 32 quite a ways in. So I started getting to Billings, and it was 36. But, and my peas and oats, and they're all up just like everybody else's. So hopefully there was no frost damage because that can wreak havoc on stuff.
Yeah.
And that's usually what happens in farming, folks. You get a break, but you don't. Sometimes we get heavy rain, but sometimes there's hail with it.
Right.
We cleared up last night. Storm moved out, great, but it cleared up and it got cold and it froze. So that's not good. If it ain't one damn thing, it's another. It doesn't matter. You just press on and move on. But yeah, I couldn't. The windshield wipers wouldn't even cut the frost. I had to scrape it so I could. Just a little eye hole's all I need, so I can start my way down.
Unlike you people from your apartments in the Heights that just scrape, a driver's license size full.
Yeah. I don't have to worry.
By the time you hit traffic, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I don't have to worry. So.
Picture in the paper today made me want to talk to this gal like I would talk to my daughter. A woman at the 21st Street underpass stands there while her car fills with water.
Well, that was nice.
How fast were you going?
And why did you try to go through it?
What are you doing?
Mark and I see that all the time with women on the elevator.
Oh, my God.
We get on the elevator and we tell them, you're on the express elevator. This isn't going to stop at floor 14. Okay. And you know what they do?
Every time.
They go over and they push the button on number 14. Mm-hmm. You can't tell them.
Not going to stop there, ma'am. Now, in defense of those people, it's not marked very well as an express elevator. Right. And to a lot of people, what's express even mean? It means it stops at 1, 2, and 20 and up.
Right. So this woman saw that there was water in the underpass. No guys were going through there, were there?
No, they weren't.
No, they weren't. But she saw it. Mm-hmm. And that's because you aren't the driver. Remember your old girlfriend that we had to try to keep up with snowmobiling, Mark? Remember her? Oh, yeah. Well,
you mean the gal we had to pull out of a snowbank?
That one. Well, I've been snowmobiling before, and you guys can just try to keep up. Okay. Yep, we see it all the time. So she got stuck in the underpass, huh? Too bad. Water damage is bad.
Some totals around the area. Wilsaw 1.6. Muscle Shoals County, everybody under 1 inch. Carbon County at Luther, a little over 2 inches. City of Big Timber 2.18. Bighorn 0.05.
You know what's sad about this picture? There's even orange barriers on the road to keep people from going in there.
Oh, yeah, there are.
Doesn't matter. You folks don't know my skills.
Right.
My ability. And give Larry Mayer, the photographer of the Gazette, credit. He knows the female species too. So he knew all I got to do is just stand here and somebody's going to try to go through there. Well, didn't work. You know, you folks, you've listened to us for a long time. And I know early in the morning we have a lot of people that listen. A lot of people in agriculture early. They're up early. They listen. I get it. And they all get it. But for 37 years, we've been trying to educate people on agriculture and water. And we try to tell you every year, snow in the mountains is good for stream flow, river flow, and lake capacity. But agriculture in Montana needs rain.
Much more dry land than irrigated stuff.
We all need the rain. I keep telling people every year, everybody, every winter we go through this for 37 years. We've been going through this, Wilson. Every winter. Oh, this snow. You farmers ought to be. No, I'm calving.
Yeah.
I don't want 2.5 feet of snow with wind blowing 40 miles an hour.
All this perpetuated by the TV weatherman using it as a crutch all these years, and people have been inundated. Well, your partner's got to be happy. No.
They don't know.
No.
You know, Mark and I, we talk to Bob McGuire every morning, and bless Bob's heart. But Bob doesn't get the agricultural thing like I do. And they give you things about agriculture that really just aren't true about agriculture. If you're in it, you know all you people that are in it right now, you know what I'm talking about. Snow is great for the watershed. That's what it is. I always tell you, too. How long have I been telling you drought is not a number? It's a condition. We could still end up, folks, with a major, major drought. Very, very dry, harsh conditions this summer, even with totals above average for the year.
If it quit raining right now, like it did in 88, and look how tall all the weeds and all the grass are going to get from this 2 inches of rain, and that turns into fuel for fires.
That's right.
We got a problem.
See, that's my partner. He's learned.
Folks, I learned that from Paul.
He learned that over 37 years, but a lot of people don't. It's great for the watershed, stream flow, and lake. That's what it's good for. Every single person east of not all of us have pivots and flood irrigate and stuff like that.
I've said that to people. Well, your partner must be loving this. I said, no, Paul didn't have a boat.
Yeah. There you go.
If Paul still had his boat, he'd be loving it.
We need the rain. The rain is our savior every year. Even all my good friends down there in the Glendive region and all throughout
where Paul
there.
loves to visit and get gas.
And all the way up through the High Line and down and even around Great Falls and over the Golden Triangle, as they call it. Rain. Rain is a good thing. That's what we need. That's our savior. Well, the snowpack's only 70%. Doesn't matter. We need the rain. The rain will save us.
We need the rain, and snowpack, how bad we need it depends on how quick it gets hot and how long it stays hot.
Exactly. Very good, Mr. Wilson.
If it stays cool like this, it's not a deal.
You are graduating summa cum laude or whatever it is today.
Which has always been my goal.
That's what I mean. My gosh, you're exactly right. Rain is our savior. Always has been, always will be. Don't forget, folks, drought is a condition. It's not a number. Don't let them play with you that way. It doesn't matter. Just because we have 110% of snowpack doesn't mean that we don't have a drought. Right. Because everybody else who doesn't use it or get it, that's a drought. It's a condition. It's not a number. Rain is a good thing. Yesterday's rain was $1 billion rain for our area. And now this rain, folks, with these cooler temps too that we're having, this rain could last us up through the middle of June, even a little later, depending on how hot it gets. And what did we tell you a few weeks ago about how it's never the first one? It's always the one after the first big one that make you the money and help with the condition.
Just like women.
Exactly. You try to learn your lesson on the first one, Mark.
But the second one, the big one.
They're the ones. They're the ones. So anyway you look at it, it was good. Yeah, it caused some flooding in the streets and stuff like that, but probably filled some dry land guys' reservoirs yesterday. That's good for their cattle. It'll help the hay. It's going to make the hay crop. If it didn't freeze,
right?
If it didn't freeze, it made the hay crop. It made the dry land hay crop now. That's going to be good. Spring crops got a big boost. Beets, malt barley, all that kind of stuff. And those guys are all irrigated anyway, but It saves them time, money, effort than having to do that. So rain, folks. Rain is it. Not the snow, the rain. Today is officially going to be a DO day. Everybody's DOing today. And especially now, look at the sun's going to be up here in about 5 minutes, and it's going to be shining brightly, and people are going to say, let's just leave now.
Yeah.
And, well, what about work? Don't worry about work. It'll always be there when you come back, right? So, DO day today. Oh, there is big Memorial Day sales at the mattress stores, Mark. I just thought...
every one of them. Paul, what do you want? You want furniture? You want a mattress?
I thought it was just President's Day, but no, it's Memorial Day, too.
And it lasts all month.
Yeah.
Canceled the races up by you, farmer. BMP, too much moisture for racing.
What?
Yeah.
They water the track before they race.
I know. What?
Huh? Oh, you know what it is. It's the parking.
Well, probably.
They park in the field.
Right.
It'd be the mud bogs in the field there is what it would be. It's probably not the track. It's probably the parking. Sneaky Democrats. Oh, my God, folks. They are dirty and sneaky. You know what they did yesterday? Yesterday, Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer's got to keep an eye on his people. And he knows which people are in hotly contested races in the Senate. And little government lesson for you today. But every 2 years, 1/3 of the Senate seats are up. Okay. They do that every 2 years. Every 6 years, somebody's got to run again, like Tester. So every 2 years, 1/3 of the seats are up. And it's very important to control the Senate. And this year, they are in some hot water. The economy sucks. The borders have been overrun. Immigration's an issue. Inflation is terrible. I mean, it's just the world is a wreck. So Schumer, that schmuck, yesterday, to try to give his side, his senators, an edge who are losing, they decided to vote on a bill yesterday.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah. And you know what the bill was? The bill was a bill that will reduce the amount of illegal immigrants that can claim asylum. That way, if they passed it, John Tester, could all go out and say, look, we passed a bill to reduce the amount of illegal immigrants coming in that can get asylum.
I've seen his ads. He's working harder on securing our borders now.
So guess what the Republicans did? They voted against it, to reject it, because they knew what kind of schmucks these people are. That's the only reason why they did it yesterday, folks. The only reason. Why?
They're playing politics, and it's win at any cost because they know they're in trouble.
Because people like John Tester are behind in the polls. So John Tester comes out. What's he been doing? He runs all these ads about, my God, you would think he's Xi Jinping, the way he controls the border. Listen to that. And he's part of the problem. So they did that yesterday. What a bunch of tricky bastards they are back there. Just trying to lie to win. But they saw through it. John Tester. You know, last month, Tester, he had the opportunity to fire the head of our Homeland Security Department who was in charge of the border, Mayorkas. You know, he wants tougher. I'm tougher. We need to do this. So Mayorkas, they have an impeachment trial. They could have fired him. And John Tester followed Chuck Schumer's orders and dismissed it. He dismissed it. He could have got rid of the guy in charge of the border, of which he is just so upset, folks. Could have fired the guy. No, he didn't. And then there was the Lake and Riley Act. That's the one to detain and deport criminal illegals. And guess what? They defeated it by one vote. John Tester. That's right. Then he flip-flopped. Oh, new polls out. I better flip-flop. You know, and then they had the vote in the Senate that supported and paid for those illegal immigrant flights to communities all around the country. And that one passed by one vote. John Tester. 1/3 illegals have been flown into different cities and communities now around America, including our state. Yeah, that's right. And you know who's voted to pay for it? John Tester. Then the Senate voted to allow illegal immigrants to be counted when it comes to forming new House districts, even though they're ineligible to vote. And even though they are illegal, they were considered part of the population. You know who voted for that, folks? John Tester.
Of course.
Then there was an amendment there that would continue the implementation of the Title 42 border policies. Those were policies that President Trump had put in place at the border. You know, the Remain in Mexico policies and all those. You know who voted against that? It lost by one vote. John Tester. Then they had an amendment that would have provided $500 million to ICE for narcotic and drug detection down there on the border, but it failed by one vote. John Tester.
Under the B7.
Ready for some fun? Join the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center for Bingo on Friday, May 31st. Bingo! Huge cash jackpots and great prizes. Come back Monday, June 3rd, as Dave Austin takes you on a journey through the 2000s with throwback music trivia. The Blue Cat is now serving up mouth-watering prime rib every Saturday alongside their legendary steaks. And speaking of legends, try their loaded Bloody Marys. There's always something going on at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, just 9 minutes east of the Metro exit.
They also had another deal this year, an amendment to provide funding for border wall construction. That failed by one vote in the Senate. John Tester, that's right. In fact, I even told you earlier about John Tester voting against President Trump's border wall bill when he was president. Now, with the commercials, why, you would think John Tester is as tough on his borders as Xi Jinping.
I don't know if I've ever seen such a blatant series of lies in a campaign.
It's awful.
It's terrible.
It's awful. So what did they do yesterday? They wanted to cap the amount of illegals that could get asylum. And they did that because of their election. They're losing. And the Republicans knew it. And so they voted against it. So they don't have that one either. What a piece of work these people are. Anything and anything to get their power back. And as soon as Tester wins, as soon as he gets back in, then once again he becomes a little wart, a little mole on Chuck Schumer's hiney that's always there. That's what he is, Wilson.
It is.
He's attached to him. Gets his life's blood from Schumer. That's how it works. Don't let them buffalo you, folks. You heard about the awful conditions up at Fort Harrison. Tester's in charge of the Veterans Affairs Committee.
And has been forever.
Yeah. And you know what, folks? All of this stuff, Tester has been there almost 18 years. 17 years and 6 months. Now he's going to try. After 17 and a half years, now he's going to try. John, clean your room. But now he's going to clean it? What? Yeah. My ass. All election ploy. Covering his butt. And he's welcome to come in any day. Any day. Mark and I will be here. Well, we could get Laken Riley's parents in here to talk to John Tester.
God,
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. We could do that. Some of the other people down there on the border that have been fighting Democrat policies, all that. Get him in any time. He didn't work with Republicans on any of those issues I just gave you. Not one. Why, now you think he's Barry Goldwater all over again, reincarnated. And then you got Witchface talking about people that have come in here, built businesses, hired hundreds of people, raise a family here, good families, spend their money here, buy another cabin for goodness sakes, help all the real estate people in those communities.
Oh, no. If you come in and you buy a cabin, you're from out of state.
That's right.
You're just driving up real estate prices for the rest of us.
That's right. All that in Witchface. We got 20 million people that have come into the area. I wrote my article last week and I made great points. It's their policies, Democrat policies, folks, that have driven all the people from California, Oregon, and Washington to move into Montana. The very thing that she hates, her people's policies are driving them here. She won't address that either. I'm willing to have her on the show anytime. She wants to come in, the gal from Rainsford. Or the guy from
Power.
From Power, whose dad bought his place and gave it to him. He could come in anytime, too. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. No. There's the sun shining brightly. Medical debt adding stress for new parents. You know why? Because new parents aren't tough anymore. We've created nothing but a society of sissies. Oh, it's too hard. It's too tough. Hey, ho, ho. We need Medicare for everyone. Ho, ho. Hey. It's just people, we've created sissies out there. 3/4 of U.S. adults have debt related to pregnancy or childbirth. They've cut their spending on food, clothing, and other essentials. Have they cut it on their cell phone service and their internet and their wireless and their
Netflix
and their Hulu and everything else? You didn't have to go to the hospital. You know how women had babies for hundreds and hundreds of years here? They had them in their homes, and the women from the neighborhood would come together and deliver the baby.
My dad wasn't born in a hospital.
So, and then, of course, after they have their babies, you know what they do with them? They take them to government babysitting or child care. They can't pay their medical bills, but they're paying $40 a day to have somebody else watch it. This world is crazy. crazy, folks. We have lost complete control. And Mary Sheehy Mo gets another article today.
Dear Billings Gazette, could you be more biased in your approach? Every Friday, that woman gets a letter published.
Every week. And then it says, have your say. The Gazette welcomes letters to the editor up to 250 words. Her opinion is more than 250 words. Mm-hmm. How come she gets more?
Trust me, Paul and I know what 250 words looks like.
Yes, it is. Boy, isn't that the truth? Okay. What else do we have here? 21 reports of vehicles sliding off the road in Sweetgrass County yesterday.
Got it.
Yeah.
And you know what sucks about that? As soon as the slide starts, you know you're not going anywhere for several hours.
Oh, yeah.
Got to call a tow truck. Got to wait for the tow truck.
So I'm guessing the Beartooth Pass isn't going to be open today.
They were shooting for 8 o'clock this morning, and they're going to update people throughout the day as they're working hard, but got another foot of snow on top of it.
Yeah, they're trying. That kind of stuff will melt fast anyway. And Jehovah Witness having their big 3-day convention starting May 31st at Metra. Bill Chiasa used to love it when they came to town because they'd clean up the whole place.
Yeah.
He said the place was spotless after they came in.
You know why the Italians don't like Jehovah Witnesses?
No, Marco, why?
They don't like any witnesses, eh?
Oh, my God. Oh, jeez. I was going to try to get my bulls out tomorrow, but that isn't happening. You couldn't get my stock trailer back there to load them up with the D9 Cat right now, so I'm going to put that on hold for a while. And more severe weather in the Midwest yesterday, if you're traveling that way. And saw this today. Yesterday we had how many people were going to fly and drive, and the same crutch story they put every holiday. Cancellations have been modest so far. The big test comes today. 3 million people go through the airports. By early evening yesterday, last night on the East Coast, 6,000 flights had been delayed. Backups at the 3 major airports, New York City, Dallas, Fort Worth, experienced delays. And keep in mind, all you people that fly out of here, your checkpoints, your connecting flights, they all come out of all these places. So airports are going to be packed. Airport unions are using this holiday weekend for their demands. There's 100 workers who clean airplanes. They're walking out in Charlotte, 24-hour strike. That's good to know.
Under the B7.
Ready for some fun? Join the Blue Cat Bar and Grill and the Roadside Event Center for Bingo on Friday, May 31st. Bingo! Huge cash jackpots and great prizes. Come back Monday, June 3rd, as Dave Austin takes you on a journey through the 2000s with throwback music trivia. The Blue Cat is now serving up mouth-watering prime rib every Saturday alongside their legendary steaks. And speaking of legends, try their loaded Bloody Marys. There's always something going on at the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, just 9 minutes east of the Metra exit.
Folks, oh my God. Make sure if you're flying, get the wipe, okay, when they hand them. Please get those.
You know what? I'm not as finicky as Paul is, but I travel with those. Everything gets a good hosing down before I sit down.
Oh gosh, some guy's got a massive butt infection that just sat in your seat before you, and you don't want to get it, folks. Oh, they got a strike at JFK Airport. 300 workers who refuel passenger jets. They said they reached a settlement yesterday, so they know when to do it. But remember when Ronald Reagan, he fired all of them. Remember that when they tried to hold America hostage, the air traffic controllers?
And that's one of the things wrong with America. We need that once in a while because nobody thinks they can be fired. Oh, this place to go under without me. In fact, we had some people working on the talk station down the hall many years ago, and the guy was crying the blues. He came in here one day and he's telling Paul, they better watch it or I'll walk out. Well, they didn't watch it. He walked out.
And everything's fine.
And the guy that he couldn't stand got fired, so the guy that quit went to come back and they said, you know what? We're going to try it without you just to see.
They also came out with more predictions yesterday on the weather. More hurricanes. Of course, every year we get nothing but more hurricanes and more dangerous and more violent. And if it doesn't happen the year before, they don't have to repeat that grade. They don't get held back.
You're right. They should.
Yeah.
How many did you predict last year?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You got to repeat this grade.
You failed, and it doesn't matter. They go on to the next year. Ocean heat and La Nina could mean more hurricane. Could. 85% chance. Hurricane season starts in June. Just starts in a couple weeks. An average season produces 14 storms, 7 of which become hurricanes. 3 of those 7 usually are major. But they all foresee a busier, nastier summer and fall for the hurricanes this year. They want to make headlines. Any group that comes out and said, yeah, it's going to be a pretty boring year for hurricanes. They're not going to have all that much, blah, 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 blah. They're not going to get any airtime. No. None whatsoever. The NOAA administrator, this season's going to be an extraordinary one. I'm going to save this article. 2 factors, they said, ocean temperatures, and if there is a La Nina or an El Nino, warm water turbocharges hurricanes. But here's the thing. How does the hurricane know the difference between 82 and 83? Water's only 82. I'm not going to turbocharge. But if it's 83, I'm going to. And folks, here's another thing about naming storms. Now they're quicker to name a storm. Mm-hmm. So when they name one, then they get one in that category, a named storm. Right. They just, if there's a little tropical depression, they'll name it right away, and then it counts as a named storm.
We got some places got 3 inches of rain yesterday. That could have been a named storm.
Yeah, they named them right away. They name the winter storms now. Last year we had 20 named storms, the 4th highest since 1950. So what that means is there's been 3 other times where we had way more storms than last year. Since 1950, and they named them. See, that's far more than the average named storms of 14. But how did they name storms back in 1950 and 60? They had to be really big before they gave them a name.
That's right.
Now they don't. It's just a hiccup. Could be just a gas pain, and they name it. They name it now. So anyway, climate change is making the strongest hurricanes even more intense. So when can we expect the hurricanes to lose their strength and to get less? If we're making them more powerful and more frequent, if you vote for a Democrat, then we can get fewer storms and less strength in our hurricane, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, theoretically.
Or if we pass a bill that spends tons of money on solar panels, then we can get fewer hurricanes that have less strength, right? When? When is that coming? And when will it get there? And when will we be at average, right? Because theoretically, if we're making them worse, our efforts now should be making them less worse. No?
Or maybe our efforts aren't actually affecting them at all.
Maybe. You think? So we'll see what happens there. But and as they get towards the end of the year and their stats are way off, then they're really quick to name the storms because they got to bring the number of named storms up before we get to end of October, or they're in trouble. So you get a little rain cloud that comes towards the Florida coast and they'll name it right away. For goodness sake.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm. Still working on that hearing, too, with Ticketmaster. That's a good thing to be spending a ton of time on while the whole world is in chaos and our economy is Ticketmaster because they have a monopoly on the ticket business. Mm-hmm.
And you can get around that by not going to concerts.
Yes, you can. Yeah, can. They control all the bigger stars. And
other than Sheryl Crow and Pink, got nothing else I'm looking at.
Homesteader Days?
Haven't gone the last couple of years.
Well, it's kind of late anyway.
Well, and
when's the Sheryl Crow Pink concert? Is that
August 28th?
I mean, what time? Is that an evening show?
Paul, that falls in the category I don't care.
Oh, okay.
It can start at 3 in the morning.
Okay.
And I'll still be there.
Well, that's true. That's true. Besides, you have night vision goggles anyway for Sheryl Crow. So
Not true as far as you know.
Okay. So, yeah, you're right. That one doesn't matter.
Wow, these little jobbers were good. Oh, funny. Yeah. Okay, first news coming up, 6:09.
The Breakfast Flakes podcast brought to you by the Blue Cat Bar and Grill, next to the Roadside Events Center in Huntley. The Blue Cat, it's where it's at.